ユノ、俺たち家族だよな。
そうだね。
でも血は繋がってない。でも血が繋がってる人より繋がってるよな。だからさ、俺たちは血の繋がった家族はいないけど、これまで出会った仲間たち、それからこれから出会う仲間も家族みたいに大切にしようぜ。
Hello everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we got another anime line of the day, and we are covering another line from the show Black Clover. And you just heard the clip. The original Japanese and the English translation for the line that we have today is going to be something along the lines of, we no longer have people in our lives we're connected to by blood, so let's promise to treat the friends we've made so far and the friends we're going to make from now on like family. 俺たちは血の繋がった家族はいないけど、これまで出会った仲間たち、それからこれから出会う仲間も家族みたいに大切にしようぜ。
だからさ、俺たちは血の繋がった家族はいないけど、これまで出会った仲間たち、それからこれから出会う仲間も家族みたいに大切にしようぜ。
So while this line right here may look a little bit lengthy, it's actually pretty darn simple. So we're going to jump into the Japanese and see how simple it really is. First, we're going to cover some vocabulary words. These two aren't too difficult. We've just included them just in case you don't know them, but they're all pretty common words, and they are going to start with the first word, chi, which is just going to translate to blood. After that, we have our verb word, the main verb word that we'll be using in this line, tsunagaru, which is going to mean to be connected. Not to connect, but to be connected. So basically kind of a passive form. Right after that, we have the noun word kazoku, very common word, just means family, the most common word for family. Next up, we have another verb word, deau, which is going to translate to meet or to encounter. After that, we have the noun nakama, which is a very common word, especially in anime. It's going to translate to something like friends or comrades. And last but not least, we have the noun / adjective taisetsu, which is going to translate to precious or important. Alright, so those are the vocabulary words. Pretty darn simple. Hopefully you know them already. Now let's jump into the actual sentence. First up, we have the word ore-tachi. This is going to be the first person pronoun ore, which means I, of course, used by boys mostly. And the plural marker tachi after it. So ore-tachi is going to mean not I, but we. We're going to mark we with the particle wa right there because ore-tachi is going to be the topic of the sentence. Now we have our first vocabulary word. It's going to be chi. We have the particle no here because we have basically a noun of a noun modification that's working in a slightly different way than we're used to. It's still going to involve two nouns, but the second noun in it is going to be kind of preceded by a verb, which is our verb tsunagaru in its ta form, so tsunagatta. So chi no tsunagatta kazoku is going to be family of a connection through blood, basically. Right after that, we have the particle wa, then the verb, the existential verb inai, which is actually iru in its negative nai form. So iru means to be, basically, or to exist. Negative form, of course, will then mean not be, or we don't have, or doesn't exist. So let's take a look at what we have so far, because this is basically our first clause to our first sentence. This line is two sentences. We have Ore-tachi wa chi no tsunagatta kazoku wa inai, and this is going to translate to we don't have a family of a connection through blood. And then we're going to end that clause with the conjunction kedo, which means basically but. So even though we don't have a family connected by blood, or we don't have it but. Now let's move into the second clause. We're starting with kore, which is the demonstrative noun that means basically this, but it's being used in a slightly non-intuitive way. If we compare it to English, it's basically used in a temporal sense here. So kore made is the adjective that means until. So until this, more naturally, kore is going to translate to now instead of this. So kore made is going to mean until now. After that is our fourth vocabulary word, deau, in its past ta form. So deatta. This is going to translate to basically met or encountered as opposed to the present tense. It is going to be modifying the noun right after it, nakama, which of course means friends. So deatta nakama is going to mean friends that we've met, that we've encountered. It is also going to be modified with the tachi plural marker. So nakama-tachi is going to be friends as opposed to just one friend. So kore made deatta nakama-tachi is going to be friends we've encountered up until now or so far. That ends the first sentence in a sense because it ends with a dot dot dot, so it's not really a grammatical end to the sentence, but speech-wise he did kind of pause there. So we're continuing on into the second half of the line now, and we have sore kara. The usage of sore kara might be a bit confusing here because right before it we use kore, and then right after it, as you will see, we're going to use kore again. So kore, sore, kore is a bit weird, but sore kara here is kind of just this set phrase already. It's like a phrase that means basically and also. So he did that little dot 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 pause and then he said sore kara. So it's kind of like pausing in your speech and saying and also or also, something like that. And then you'll see why he said also as we continue on. We're moving on here, and then we have kore kara. So we know what kore is. It's meaning this or now, and instead of mare this time, which means until, we have kara, which means basically from. So now kore kara is going to mean from now. And you can probably guess from that the pattern that we're going to take with the next words that will show up. It's just going to be deau again and nakama, because we're saying the friends that we will meet from now on, because we already said the friends that we have met from now on, or until now. So deau is going to be in its dictionary form this time around because we're talking in the future tense, not the past tense. Nakama, for some reason he did include the tachi plural marker in this one. And then we're going to have the particle mo to mean basically also. So we have basically kore made deatta nakama-tachi, soreからこれから出会う仲間も. That's going to be basically the friends that we've met so far, dot dot dot, taking a pause here, and also それから the friends that we will meet from here on.
これまで出会った仲間たち、それからこれから出会う仲間も.
And what are we gonna do with those friends that we already have and we're gonna make? We are going to kazoku mitai ni taisetsu shiyouぜ.
家族みたいに大切にしようぜ.
Which means the first word kazoku, of course, means family. We have the mitai grammar pattern that basically means like, so like family. It's being used as an adverb here, so mitai ni. And then we have this verb action, which is consisting of an adjective plus the particle ni plus the verb suru, means to do. So taisetsu ni suru is going to mean basically, as opposed to the adjective that means precious or important, it's basically going to mean to treat them something as precious, or to treat something as important, or more naturally you might say to cherish. So taisetsu ni shiyou ze, the shiyou is basically just going to be the volitional form of suru instead of just the dictionary form, so it means basically like let's cherish, not cherish. Then the ending particle ze is just a masculine way of talking, and it's kind of hardening the emotion behind it and the command behind it. So let's reconnect all of the parts to this line and rehash it all together. 俺たちは血の繋がった家族はいないけど、これまで出会った仲間たち、それからこれから出会う仲間も家族みたいに大切にしようぜ. We no longer have people in our lives we're connected to by blood, or we have no family that we're actually connected to by blood, but let's promise to treat the friends we've made so far and the friends that we're going to make from now on just like family.
だからさ、俺たちは血の繋がった家族はいないけど、これまで出会った仲間たち、それからこれから出会う仲間も家族みたいに大切にしようぜ.
Okay, so that is the whole line right there. It's pretty long, but it's also pretty simple. The vocabulary that's used in it isn't too difficult, as well as the grammar. But just in case, let's just review the grammar patterns that we did encounter. We had the past ta form of a verb with tsunagatta. We had the noun of a noun modification before that. We had the negative nai form of iru to be inai. We had the kedo conjunction to mean but. We had the modifying a noun with the verb clause deau nakama basically. We have the mitai grammar pattern. That right there is actually probably the most difficult grammar pattern we encountered. The other ones are pretty darn simplistic. And then last but not least, we had the adjective ni suru to mean basically to do that adjective in a sense. And then the sentence ending particle ze, which can't really be considered a grammar pattern that much. And there we go. So with that, we just learned another line from the show Black Clover. We'll see if we get any more lines from the show in the future.
You know, 俺たち家族だよな.
そうだね.
でも血は繋がってない. でも血が繋がってる人より繋がってるよな. だからさ、俺たちは血の繋がった家族はいないけど、これまで出会った仲間たち、それから これから出会う仲間も家族みたいに大切にしようぜ。
Alright, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Anime Line of the Day. Remember, if there were grammar patterns mentioned for this line, they'll be mentioned in the description or the pinned comment below with links to the individual lessons on them. You can also probably find them in the playlist of our complete grammar video series shown on the screen right here alongside our anime playlist. And last but not least, don't forget to try to translate the bonus line we provided. Leave your translation in a comment below. Check out our Patreon, like the video, and subscribe. With all that said and done, see you next time.